I just wanted to take this book, enter the world of Solaria, and whack that character over the head with it. Hello, my name's Jodie and welcome to a new video. So today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about all the books I plan to read in August. Now, I haven't done a TBR video for a while and I have been in a year-long plus slump, which really sucks, and I don't know, I just really am trying to break out of it, and I'm hoping that I can, because for me, August is the month where autumn begins. Like, as we get to the halfway point in August, I'm like, yeah, it's autumn now. The Halloween decks come out, everything gets autumnal, I start dressing autumnal even if it's too hot to. I just go full autumn mode. I love autumn so much. It makes me so happy, and I always want to read a lot more during autumn because something about it is so inherently cozy, and there is nothing more cozy than curling up with a book and a nice warm mug of tea or a pumpkin spice latte and just having a really cozy time. So I'm really excited for that, and you will definitely be seeing the autumnal Halloweenish content rolling out in August, and hopefully you will genuinely just see more videos from me because I haven't really been posting much on YouTube recently. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna get into my TBR. I do have 3 books here that I want to talk about that I am planning to read in the month of August, and then we have my little TBR jar, or rather a TBR pot that has all my options in for potential books we will be reading. So I first did a TBR jar video a few months ago and I really enjoyed the concept, so I've kept all the same prompts that I created but just put them in a different jar. If you don't know what a TBR jar is, it's essentially where you write down a bunch of prompts. So for example, you could write a prompt that says read a book that has a butterfly on the cover, or read a book that's been on your shelf longer than 6 months, and then you have to find a book that matches that prompt to read. So it's just like a really fun way of finding books to add to your TBR, especially if you're maybe unsure of what to add. And it's just, so I don't always stick to my TBRs, but I do like to put them together anyway. So I am going to choose 5 prompts from here and we shall see what books I get. But before I do get into the TBR jar, we are just going to talk about the 3 books that I just mentioned. So the first one we have is The Wren in the Holly Library. This is by K.A. Linde, and this is a romantasy, and I did start this, but I'm literally only 6 pages in, so not much to say so far. I did also choose out this beautiful bookmark that I feel like matches the cat and the vibes here, plus it's kind of autumnal and stickers, and this is probably my favorite one she has ever done. My camera doesn't want to focus, I'm actually using my old camera today, but yeah, this is the bookmark here. I just thought I'd mention that, so I will pop her channel and store down below. But back to the book, The Wren in the Holly Library. This is a romantasy, and it is one that I'm really excited to read. I love the romantasy genre. Now, I know most people associate romantasy with spice, and romantasy is known as being like a spicy genre, and it definitely is, but for me personally, I think there are many books that do fit into the romantasy category that aren't heavily spicy. So it's a very broad genre for me, and I love the romance elements. Like, in all honesty, if a book doesn't have romance, I'm probably not going to read it. Like, for the most part, I just won't. I'm a romance girly to my core, and I love fantasy and I love romance. So romantasy is such a perfect genre for me, but I'm not a big fan of spice. Like, I will read it, but I don't care for it, and it's not what I'm looking for, and I don't want every other chapter to just be spice. So I am definitely excited for this one, and I'm interested to see how much spice is in here and if I like the spice that is in here. This is a story that is kind of like an urban fantasy-esque story. I don't know if it does actually fit into that genre. I think it's set in New York City, and basically we have a world where in recent years, I can't remember exactly how many, monsters have revealed themselves to the world and kind of taking over the world. And we have our main character, who is human, who is a thief. She steals from the rich, and she has always known she's different. She's faster than people, stronger than people, but she is also human. So it's kind of like, well, why is she like this? That's one of my favorite kind of micro tropes, is like where the main character like thinks they're human but they aren't, if that makes sense. Definitely getting that trope from the synopsis. But yeah, there's magic, monsters and romance and a library in this book, and I'm very excited because I love all of those things. So one night MC goes to do this typical heist she usually would and rob a ring from this elusive billionaire. They assume they're a billionaire, and she breaks in to his apartment and she enters the library where they believe the ring is. But she's caught by the monster there, and now she is trapped inside this library with said monster. He is a very, very powerful monster, and he's also well within his rights to kill her. But he decides not to do that. He offers her a job instead and also provides her with an opportunity to find out who she really is. This is like going back to the fact that like she's not a normal human. So yes, she's stuck in a library with a monster and they're gonna fall in love. Could you just get more romanticy than that? Honestly, any books that have books in or libraries are an instant yes for me. I just love books that are about books, and I'm just so excited about the prospect of a forced proximity romance taking place in a library with a monster. Like, I just can't wait. And honestly, like, when I say monster, this here is the monster. So I mean, can you blame me for being excited? I cannot wait to read this, and this is definitely one I will be getting to in the month of August. Then next we have The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller. This was featured in the June Decadent Desires Fairy Loot box, the young adult box that is, and I cannot wait to continue reading this one. I did start this in July, but I had a very, very busy social life for once, which, like, I never leave my house usually, and I spent 2 weekends back to back in London socialising, so I didn't really do any reading after I picked this up. I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna be reading for a while, and now a couple of weeks have gone past and I haven't picked it back up yet. But this one is a standalone. It is set in the same world as The Shadows Between Us, so if you have read that book by Trisha Levenseller, then this book is set in the same world, and it follows the main character from that book's sister in this one. So even though Goodreads I think labels this as a sequel, it is not a sequel. You could literally just pick this up and read it. You do not have to have read The Shadows Between Us and vice versa. But I read The Shadows Between Us when it first came out many years ago, and I did not like it. It was my first morally grey book that I can remember, and I didn't quite understand the concept of morally grey, and I just didn't really vibe with it. And I've been umming and ahhing about picking it up again for a while because my reading taste has changed so much since then that I wanted to give it another go and see if I enjoyed it a bit more. And then I wanted to read this one. Now I was like, well, it's the perfect time, I may as well pick that one up again. So I did reread it recently, and although I didn't love it, I enjoyed it a lot more. So I think it's like a 3.5 rating for me. I love Trisha Levenseller's writing. It's very addictive, it's very easy, very fun, and her characters are just very feisty and just like fun to read about. My main gripe with The Shadows Between Us is that the main character and the love interest quite literally do hate poor people, and I understand being morally grey, and I like the morally grey concept a lot more this time around, but that one thing just would not sit right with me. I just don't like it. Like, if you've read the book, you understand the thing I'm talking about, and I just didn't like that. I could not get behind it, and it did take away like from a higher rating for me. So yeah, besides that, I love the world, I love the magic, I love the decadence, and just how the characters are written. So I am very excited to get to this one. We're essentially following her sister. I cannot pronounce the name. Chrysantha, I think is how you pronounce it. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But yeah, we have Chrysantha. She married this old duke. He was horrible. He's just died. She's now a duchess. She owns like all his money, his estates. But then suddenly a man claiming to be her estranged husband's grandson arrives, and he's like, sorry, all of this is now mine, you need to get out. And she's like, absolutely not, I did not suffer that man to be left with nothing. And now they are kind of living together. They do not like each other at all, and she's trying to figure out if he's like an imposter or genuinely like this guy's grandson, and how she can keep her fortune. So yeah, this one is also morally grey. It's enemies to lovers, there's shadow magic, and I think there's shadow magic, unless I just made that up from The Shadows Between Us. I could have just made that up. There's some form of magic, I think, and it has like a Bridgerton-esque kind of vibe. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this one, and I was enjoying what I'd read so far. I'm only on chapter 7, but I definitely do want to finish this in the month of August. And then my final book that I know I'm going to be adding to my TBR is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is a well-known romance I'm sure you're all very familiar with. I've only read Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it 4 stars. The reason it wasn't a 5 is because there was a lot of waffling in there. Which is very, very like ironic coming from me, because I always waffle and yap. I am a yapper to my core, but there was just a lot of stuff in there that I was like, this doesn't need to be in here. This is making it too long. There was a lot of stuff about the main character's sister, and I was like, why are we getting chapters about this girl who's not really that relevant? Like, I didn't like that. So that was like something I've always been kind of worried about with her other books, but I genuinely like loved the writing style because it was very lyrical, which you don't often see in romance books. So I'm hoping the writing is lyrical in here. I'm hoping there's not like chapters that I'm just kind of like, oh, like why is this here? Because so many people do love Emily Henry and I want to read more. And another reason I am reading this one is because it is my June and July pick for my Patreon book club. So if you ever want to join the book club, you can head to my Patreon. It's bi-monthly, so it's every 2 months, which gives people plenty of time to read the book, to be in the mood for the book. I didn't pick this one up just yet, so I'm definitely gonna have to pick it up in August. I just said June, July. It's July, August book club pick is what I meant to say. So I'm going to be reading this one in August because I just wasn't in the mood for it this month. But I'm hoping that I really like this one. I don't know a lot about it because it's her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, which is a mouthful and hard to get my head around. But I'm excited to read this and I hope I really enjoy it. So that is all the books that I am adding to my TBR. Now we're going to get on to the prompts. And for some reason I feel a little nervous, but let's just get into it. So see what our first one is. This is the first prompt. So it is continue a series. Ooh. I am in the middle of so many series that I've actually lost count. This may take me a moment to figure out because there are a few I could go with, but I don't know what I'm in the mood for right now. Like if I'm in the mood for romance or fantasy or maybe even a thriller. Oh, I don't know. What am I in the mood for? I have maybe 3 books in mind, so let's grab them and we shall talk it out together and decide which one I'm going to go for. We have the 3 options here. So first one we have is Zodiac Academy 5. Now this is a brick. Like I literally almost dropped it. Like look at the size of this. Look how chunky that is. And considering I'm in a reading slump, who do I think I am even picking this one up? But at the same time, I read the first 4 of these books so fast. Like I read them on my Kindle and they are very addictive, and honestly I've never read a fantasy series so addictive in my life as Zodiac Academy, and I honestly love it. But the reason I stopped reading after book 4 is because I've seen a couple of spoilers for things that do happen in this series, and I don't know if anyone else is like this, but when I know something is going to happen that I really don't want to happen, I will be like, no, I'm not reading it, because then it doesn't really happen. Like that doesn't happen. It's not been read yet, so I can live blissfully ignorant to that happening. And yeah, so that is what I've been doing for the last maybe year, 2 years. I honestly can't remember when it was that I read the 4th book. I think it might have been like 2 years ago now, so it has been some time. And I've been debating picking this up and continuing for a while. One of the characters really pissed me off in the 4th book because there's a specific thing that happens, and if you've read this series you know what I'm talking about. And I just wanted to take this book, enter the world of Solaria, and whack that character over the head with it because they peed me off so bad. But anyway, I do really want to read this. I miss this world. I miss being like so heavily immersed into a fantasy world and just the feelings that it gives. I know this one is supposed to be heartbreaking and they only get more heartbreaking as they go on, but I've been meaning to continue this series for so long now, and I think this year I really want to do it. So I might pick this one back up on Kindle. I just need to find a good summary of the first 4 books, or at least the 4th book. So if anyone could give me a summary, like obviously don't put it in the comments because spoilers, but if anyone would be just incredibly kind and amazing enough to take time out of their day and DM me on Instagram a little kind of summary of the 4th book, I will love you for the rest of my life, honestly. Or if you just know where I can find one, because I've struggled to find one, and if I can find one then I think that's going to make me want to read this. So this is definitely an option. And then the next book is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the sequel to Shadow in the Wings of Night. Is it Shadow in the Wings of Night? It's not even, that's not even the title. What am I talking about? Why did I say Shadow? I keep saying Shadow today. Serpent in the Wings of Night. I really love that book so much, and I've been meaning to pick the sequel up for quite some time and just haven't gotten to it yet. So this is a contender, although I don't think I am actually in the mood for this one, but I also do really want to continue this series, so this is a maybe. And then lastly we have Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder either 2 or 3 years ago now, and I really enjoyed it. And I did start this book and I just didn't continue with it because I wasn't in the mood for a thriller. I think I got up to chapter 4, but something in me is wanting to pick up a thriller, and I haven't read any for a while, and I was just thinking this could be a good one to go with because I do want to continue this series and I've been meaning to for so long. So maybe we will pick this one up. It's definitely between these two. So what I'm going to do is, because I am incredibly indecisive and can never make my own mind up, I'm going to wait until the end and I'll let you guys know which one I decided to put on my TBR. But I think this one is getting yeeted because it's between these two for me. Okay, so our second prompt. Okay, so here is our second prompt, which is read a book with 300 plus pages. Wow, not great for me when I'm in a slump. Okay, 300 plus pages. What do we want to go with? There is a romantasy book that I do want to read, but will I actually read it? It is right behind me, which is this one. Is this over 300 pages? I think it is. Okay, this one's over 300 pages, so we're going to choose this one. Now, I don't know for sure if I will pick this up because I don't know if I want to keep starting series, but I do know the second book is on Kindle, so I might be able to read it after. And this one I know ends on a very big cliffhanger, and I've heard a lot of people immediately go into the second book, so I think I might put this on my TBR because I am in the mood for some fantasy romance and I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So yeah, this is Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Fields. This is a romantasy. This one has a very dark interpretation of the Fae, which I love a good Fae story. Fae is just something about the Fae. I mean, I'm a Sarah J Maas girly, so I'm always going to love the Fae, but it just does it for me every time, especially in romantasy. So I'm very excited about this one. So our main character is a changeling. She has no name, no family. She's like an outcast. And it says here, until an irresistibly wicked fairy begins a seductive game of cat and mouse. I am his prey, his treasure, a perfect pet. He offers a trade. He will take me to the fairy realms to assist in my search for the truth of who I am. In return, I must agree to marry him, but things are not as they seem, and soon after arriving at his wintry manor, I begin to unravel a dangerous web of lies. Far deadlier still, I'm falling in love with a monster who has no heart. I love the sound of this because it has the marriage of convenience trope. It has a mystery element, it has romance, a wintry core, a dark fae with no heart, romance, and there is a little wolf cub, and I think his name is Snow, and he just looks so freaking cute. So yeah, I am very excited about this one. I feel like I could fly through this quite quickly if I really got into it. So this is going to be my pick for the 300 plus page prompt, and hopefully I really enjoy it. Okay, so we're on to prompt number 3. Okay, so prompt number 3 is a book published this year. Oh damn. Which book do I want to go with? I think I'm going to go with this one, which is A Magical Girl Retires by Park Seolian. I'm sorry if I am pronouncing that incorrectly. This is the author's name just here at the bottom. This is a shorter book and I've heard a lot of good things about this. It has anime vibes and it says, a millennial turned magical girl must combat climate change and credit card debt in this whimsical and wildly imaginative ode to magical girl manga. And I'm a manga girly. I love me some manga, so I feel like I will really enjoy this, and I do love a short read. I don't know anything else about it, but I think I am going to choose this one because it will be a really fun time. I'm pretty sure this did come out this year, so we're going to go with this one. Okay, so our fourth prompt is read a book by a favourite author. I know what I'm choosing for this because I've been in the mood for a reread, so let me go and grab the book. So it's going to have to be A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I've been in the mood to reread this for a while now, and I should probably start with a reread of A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I might read instead of this one, but at the moment I just really want to skip ahead and read this because it is my all-time favourite book. I love it so much and I need the happiness that this book brings me in my life again. Like, I need to feel happy, and this book will definitely make me feel happy, and I just miss it and my favorite characters on this world so much. And yeah, like, you can tell how much I love this book by all of the tabs, so I might add some more tabs to this book as I read again, but I'm in the mood for a reread. So we're gonna reread this, but I could potentially end up starting with ACOTAR instead and then go into this one. We'll see how I feel, but for now I am gonna choose A Corpus and Fury by Sarah J Maas, which is just my baby. Like, I don't know how many times I've read this book now, but there will never be enough times, honestly. And I'm just so grateful to myself for reading this series many years ago. And if you didn't know, the reason that I love this is because when I was, what age was I when I read this? It was a few years ago now, and I was in a very, very bad place mentally. Very, very bad place. And reading was my main form of escapism, and I just saw so much of myself in Feyre, and just, I don't know, not even just that, but this book just gave me so much happiness and so much escapism from life that I will always treasure it, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. So I just have such a strong emotional attachment to this series as a result, and I cannot wait to dive back into it again. It always just makes me feel so comforted, and I'm just really excited. So yeah, that is why I love this series. That is why I will never shut up about this series, and hopefully we can squeeze in a reread this month, and that will be my pick. And then we have our final pick of the TBR jar. Okay, so this is our fifth and final pick, which is a free pick. Yay! I'd love my old self for this. So what do I want to read? Honestly, there's not anything in particular that I want to read right now, so this might actually be hard rather than easy. Oh, I don't know. What do I want to read? I feel like I need like maybe a short book, or maybe like a romance, because a lot of this is fantasy, so maybe we need to pick a romance. Or do we want another romantic kind of vibe? What do I want to read? I'm gonna go and stare at my romance shelves for a second and see if I can find a book that I want to read. I feel like I should choose a romance, because maybe that will be like a good balance from all the romantasy that I'm hoping to read. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I will be back with my choice in a moment. I have made my choice. Will I finally read this book? Who knows? But we're going to go with The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, because someone I work with recently read this book and it has made me want to pick it up. And because I have been hearing talk of this book, and I know that everybody does love it anyway in the book community, it's kind of motivating me to finally give it a read. So we're going to put it on my TBR and see if I get to it. I don't remember a lot about this, and I kind of want to go into it not remembering too much. All I remember from this one is our main character is a ghostwriter, and I think she's like contracted or something to do like a romance novel, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think she's just gone through like a breakup, so she's not in any place to be doing that. And she asked her new editor like, oh, like, can I please like just have some more time? And he's really mean to her. Then suddenly his ghost turns up at her apartment and they have a romance. That's kind of like all I remember. It's kind of like a twist on a romance, because it does have that fantastical element of the fact that the main character can see ghosts. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. I heard that this has a lot of themes of grief in it, and it handles those themes very, very well. So I'm really excited to read this, but I also don't want to cry, but I think this probably will make me cry. But yeah, I have never read a romance like this before, so I definitely want to read something a bit unique, and I feel like this might be the book for me this August, because it also has those subtly spooky vibes that I'll be craving as we approach autumn. So this is my final TBR pick. Before we go through my final TBR, I told you guys I would tell you at the end which one I picked, and I think I am going to go for Good Girl Bad Blood. I think I would rather read Zodiac Academy book 5, but until I have like a good kind of summary of the previous books, I won't be able to read it. So we're gonna go with this one, and like I said, I kind of have been craving a thriller, and I feel like it might be good to read something I wouldn't usually read, because I don't tend to pick up thrillers. So I'm putting this on my TBR, hoping that I will really, really enjoy it. So that is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. But that does mean we have our July TBR, which is very ambitious. Now I'm looking at it in a viewfinder, I'm like, okay, that's quite a big start, but hopefully we can get to all of these books in August, or at least just some of them. I want to get on my slump and just find the joy in life again by reading books and escaping life, because God knows I need the escapism right now, and fantasy it's just my one and only true form of escapism. I am so grateful that books exist anyway, but that fantasy books exist, because being able to escape into worlds that are so unlike our own is just so magical to me. And yeah, it's like the main reason why I love reading and why I just find so much comfort in it. So I am so excited to escape into some new fantasy worlds, into some familiar fantasy worlds, to explore some new romances, a thriller, and just have like a fun reading month hopefully. And all of those cozy vibes that I want from autumn, I shall be making myself have in August. So there will be many cozy evenings spent reading, and hopefully doing a lot of reading sprints over on Patreon, and a lot more vlogs and content for you guys. I'm also going to be putting together a video with some recommendations of books to read if you're like yearning for autumn. I think I did one of these last year and you guys did enjoy it, and I just want to do one again. Now I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the books probably will be the same as the ones I recommended last year, because I haven't really read many books this year or last autumn, so I probably don't have a lot of new recommendations. So yeah, do bear that in mind, but I will be putting a little video like that together for you guys, because I know many of you are also autumn enthusiasts and are just counting down the days. So yeah, that will be coming soon. If there's any videos in particular you guys would like to see from me, please do let me know in the comments, because I really want to get back into YouTube again, but I am feeling a little bit lost on what kind of content to create, what kind of content you guys would like to see from me. So yeah, please do let me know in the comments down below if there is anything in particular you would like me to do, and I shall try and do that for you guys. Please do let me know as well which books you're planning to read in August. I would absolutely love to know what's on your TBR, or any books you've read recently that you really enjoyed. If you did make it to the end of this video, leave an autumnal emoji in the comments, because I just am so excited for autumn. I can't shut up about it. So yes, do leave an autumnal emoji in the comments, and I will link the bookmark that I showed at the beginning in the description box. I will also link my Etsy store, because I do actually make my own bookmarks as well, so you can find those there if you are interested. And there will also be a link to my Patreon. That's where you can find our bi-monthly book club. You can find exclusive content from me, such as exclusive unboxing videos, vlogs, reading vlogs, a Discord, occasionally some reading sprints. There will be more reading sprints as we go into autumn. So that is all over on my Patreon. You can also find the links to my Bookstagram and my BookTok and all my other social media stuff. But for now, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you have a wonderful August, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!